Welcome to r/Tales from Tech Support, where we get to have a little chuckle at the technologically disadvantaged. Like me. I'm Uncle Reddit, and have I got a story for you. Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the server. Been about a week since I've done one of these stories. Forgive my absence. I've been moving the shop all week, relocating my retail shop. We're all moved in and mostly settled. Things need a little rearranging. I'll post some pictures here on the next video probably. Then early this morning, I became a grandfather again, so there's that. Yeah, so congrats to my daughter on that. And then we even got some cats hanging out today. One of them doesn't want to be on camera except when he wants to bop his other brother here on the nose, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, busy time, you know? Let's read some stories. USB device. Hello all, I'm senior IT in my company and mostly work second and third level jobs. On rare occasions I have to go to users, and when I do it's usually problematic ones. This happened some years ago. I'm sitting at my desk looking at logs and wondering why a web server won't start, and I got a call from my boss. Boss, hey, you got a minute? Head of some department got some problems and I'd like you to go solve it. Me, okay, where is he? Boss, that in that room. I have to mention that I have memory problems with numbers, faces, and names. Our company is moderately big, but I don't always remember where someone has an office. The head of that department is an elderly guy who really doesn't understand how any digital device works, from VHS, DVDs, TVs, computers. I guess you know those kind of people. Me. Do I contact him or his secretary? Boss, secretary. So I went there and greeted the secretary. Blonde woman, a bit older than I am. I told her that I got the call and asked her what seems to be the problem. Secretary. So the head of the department got this USB drive as a gift, but when he connects it to the computer with the cable it doesn't show at all. It could be that it needs administrator rights to be installed. Me. It's unusual for USB drives to ask for administrator rights to be installed, but I'll see what happened. Could be dead on arrival, but can't tell for sure until I test it. Could you give it to me? Secretary hands me the cardboard box. Here it is. I open the box and get angry at the second I inspected what's on it, but kept my cool, adding a bit of poison to my tone. Me. Ma'am, you called my boss to send someone to help you with this? This isn't a USB drive. It's not IT equipment at all. Secretary. It's not? But it connects to the computer. Me. Yes, for charging purposes. This is a portable nose hair trimmer. Please don't call... Please don't call IT for things like that. I'm going back to my room as I have more important things to solve. And you tell your boss to read the manual. That's too funny. Oh, this guy got way too serious over a nose hair trimmer. OP, you gotta chill, man.
Lighten up, Francis.
Take a breath. It's okay. The old guy and the secretary both got confused and thought a nose hair trimmer was a USB drive. Amazing. You gotta laugh, man. Being told I should work at the local tech store instead of the employee behind the desk. This story is a good few years old, but I figured you guys would appreciate it. So this took place out on a quick trip to my local tech retail store, simply to pick up a replacement part for a personal device that I owned at the time. I made my way into the store and darted over to the technical support desk area. The queue was pretty short, just myself and an elderly gentleman who was currently speaking to the guy behind the counter with his laptop out on the desk. So as you do, I stood there and waited, headphones in and not really paying attention to what was going on. 10 minutes or so had passed and they were still chatting, doing whatever it was on this guy's machine. So I figured while I'm here I'd go look around a bit, kill a bit of time, then wander back over to the desk once they'd finished. It's quite a large store, and after about 1.5 laps of the store, I rejoined the queue behind the same guy at the counter. After another short wait, it was starting to become apparent that they had clearly been there for a while, so I decided I'd listen in to see what the issue was. I decided that I'd join in the conversation between the employee and the customer like, "Hi, sorry to interrupt, but what problems are you having?" The elderly gentleman responded with, "I bought this laptop a few days ago with a mouse, and I keep accidentally catching the trackpad, and it keeps interfering with the mouse, and we can't figure out a way to turn it off." To which I replied with, "Have you not tried the shortcut on the keyboard? You should be able to press FN plus F7 or something like that, and it'll disable it." The employee behind the desk then looked at me, then back down at the keyboard on this guy's machine, pressed the key combo, and all I heard from the employee was, "Oh." The customer guy then looked at me and said, "Oh, thank you. You saved the day. We've been here for ages trying to figure that out. I think you need to be behind the desk instead." I felt bad for the employee after that, but I guess he learned something and solved his issue for him at least. Yeah, I can understand both sides here. The frustration of the old guy because, he bought a machine there. They have technical support, but the technical support really doesn't understand all of what's going on. I'm not sure how long ago this was, but we've had the internet for quite a long time, and I'm quite sure that he could have looked it up and found out what the issue was without standing there for however long they were there, guessing at what was going on. But at the same time, these guys get hired, and in some places they really don't get the training that they should, and they're just kind of left to flounder, really. So I guess I can see it from both sides. Reading is hard. So I support a specific tool that one department uses in our company, and had this fantastic little interaction about an hour ago. I hope the rest of the week isn't like this. User: Hi, I'm not able to remove a field from this user profile. It won't delete. Me: I have a feeling it's because that user has a leaving date of yesterday. Can you delete the leaving date and try? User: I tried moving the leaving date, but still same result. Me: Can you delete the leaving date and try again? User: I got it. I had to delete the leaving date. Me: Great. Glad it's working. Sipping coffee. I love that. I've had conversations with people before where I do that. You know, I give a suggestion and they act like they didn't hear me, and then all of a sudden they have a little light bulb moment. Oh, it was this. Well, yeah, of course it was. I just said that. Nope, I had nothing to do with it. It was just a sheer stroke of genius on your part. User had to drive to the office. So the client we support uses a VPN for people who do hybrid working. Today, this user who was working from home, their AD password expired due to suspicious login attempts. And then that means the VPN doesn't connect as they are linked. So the only way to reset it on that machine is to go to the office, link into the domain linked Wi-Fi, and reset your password. Once they log out and back in, VPN will work. The call. User: I need my login password reset. I can't log on. Me: After going through diagnostics and troubleshooting, find out that the AD password was reset due to a security risk from suspicious logon activity, meaning the credentials on the VPN were out of sync with the AD and won't let the user connect to the domain via the VPN to refresh it. We can't reset the VPN credentials while it's out of sync with the AD because if we do, it breaks the MFA that it also uses and causes a bunch of issues. Me: You need to go to the office, connect to the Wi-Fi, log in and reset it there to reset your expired password. User: That's 30 miles away. I'm working from home today. Me: Well, that's a security policy. You can't log in from home or use the VPN to log in if your password's expired, and the account has been locked. I also explained the suspicious login attempts, which is why it was reset. User in an angry tone: Fine. 20 minutes later, user calls back. User: Yeah, the last person told me I needed to drive to the office to reset my login. Blah, blah, blah. I want to speak to a manager. Me: Yeah, you spoke to me. The point still stands. Go to the office to reset it. Can't be done from home. User: Fine, but you'll be hearing about this. Me: Have a good day, ma'am. Also me: Forwarding call recordings and the 2 tickets that were created for each call to user's supervisor. It's not a constant issue. Only happens to users if the account login was flagged by security for suspicious activity, their MFA breaks, or if they've been away from the office for too long and the domain disconnects. They're looking into Always On VPN linked to the AD login for the laptop as soon as it boots up, but for the moment, that's on the lowest list of priorities. I cut out a lot of swearing and useless arguments they tried, otherwise this would have been a novel. Rule of thumb: never argue with the guys who tell you how the IT policy or procedure works. Side note: got dyslexia, so sorry if some words are not correct in terms of grammar. Glad I'm in tech support and not a lawyer. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but every time I see a story where somebody complains about something being 20 or 30 or 40 miles away, I just think to myself, it's really not that far. It's 27 miles to my retail store, well, to my old retail store from my front door here. I was driving that 7 days a week for several years, and it's really not far. 30 miles on most average roads is a half hour away. Ish. Heck, when I did construction, it was easily an average of 45 minutes to an hour drive one way for every job. I guess maybe it's all relative, I don't know, but I just don't think it's that far. Believe me, my monitor's connected to my Fritzbox. Got a special case today. English is not my first language, but I'll do my best. I was requested to call a customer because his notebook won't boot anymore. This can have multiple reasons, but I kinda already knew what it was. Sometimes when a notebook enters sleep mode, the user has a hard time waking it up again. This gets even wilder. When the notebook gets stuck at a certain process, then enters sleep mode, because waking it up will just end up at the stuck situation again. Also, it's an HP notebook, and I had a few cases in the past where it just won't boot. Both cases are easy enough to fix though. Just disconnect everything. Hold down the power button for like 20 seconds, then boot again normally. Now that the explanation's out of the way, let's get to the call. My colleague warned me that this customer is difficult, but I had no idea. It went pretty well at first. I asked for the model, which is written at the bottom of the device. His eyes aren't the best anymore, but he could tell me fragments of the model name, and that was enough. So with a picture of the device in question, I asked him a little bit about the problem, and then to disconnect everything and hold the power button down for 20 seconds. This went perfectly, and the PC was booting again. He then told me that his external monitor wasn't showing anything. Now this is where the fun begins. I first asked him to check the direct connection between his laptop and the monitor. That seemed to be okay. I then asked him to press the power button of the monitor. After a quick explanation where that button's located, he told me that nothing happens. I then asked where the power cord of the monitor's leading to. He told me it was connected to his Fritz box. Now I knew that was certainly not the case, but after a few retries and different phrasing of my questions, we were still stuck. So I told him to log into his laptop. Maybe I can use the camera to check the situation. After explaining to him how to bypass the Windows 10 screensaver to get to the login and telling him how to confirm the entered password, it took a while until he found the enter key, the laptop returned wrong password. I then checked the documentation for further info about this customer. Normally we don't have private customers, so I wasn't sure if there was any documentation at all, but lucky me found the ID for the remote access. I connected to his device, entered the password for him. It was his last name and he misspelled it. Age really does a number on you. And checked the connectivity to the monitor. Monitor showed up, but no signal. That just confirmed that it wasn't powered. I then noticed that the notebook wasn't powered either, so I tried to get him to follow the power cord of the notebook. That went smooth after I showed him a picture of it in his browser. The cord led to a multi-socket with a rocker switch. I asked him to press the switch twice, and check the power icon of the laptop. Nothing changed, so I asked him to follow the power cord of the multi-socket, and behold, it was connected to itself. After getting him to plug it into the wall socket, everything worked fine. I feel really sorry for customers like this. They aren't stupid or something, just old and unfamiliar with technology. On that note, look after your parents and grandparents. I know that this is almost always a chore, but don't underestimate them. My friends told me how they teach their grandparents how to use a smartphone, WhatsApp, etc., and since then are using it just as good as any other person. Hopefully you enjoyed the read. I take cases like this with a smile, and the heartfelt thank you at the end makes it all worthwhile. As long as they're not being nasty, then I have no problem with people old or young or otherwise, even if they're not old, if they're just kind of not that smart with technology. I have no problem walking people through things like that and showing them what's what. It's when they start to argue and act like they know better and get really, really nasty and rude that, yeah, one really has nothing to do with the other. You can be clueless without being nasty. And if you're going to be nasty, then that's just a personality issue that you have. And I don't care if you're old or not. You're going to get it back. Well, hey guys, I hope you really enjoyed these stories. And if you did, do me a favor. If you wouldn't mind, maybe click that like button. If you didn't like it, then click the dislike button. Maybe subscribe to the channel and click that little bell icon so you don't miss the fat guy with the beard telling you stories. See ya.